Well, Michael Jackson fans are getting a chance to listen to newly released audio tapes of the King of Pop.
It's part of a new book by a man who's spent a lot of hours with Michael Jackson trying to help him. His spiritual advisor, Rabbi Shmuley, he's out with a new book called Honoring the Child's Spirit, Inspiration and Learning from Our Children. Rabbi Shmuley joins us this morning. Of course, we know you from the radio as well. Interesting, I never knew that you and Michael Jackson hung out.
Well, you know, what makes this book unique is that Michael spent a lot of time around kids, and people question that. And in this book, he sought to explain it. We recorded these conversations to create a book where Michael believed that the more time we spent around kids, the more creative, the more imaginative, the less prejudicial we were. That as we got older, we sort of calcified, we ossified, our hearts shriveled a little bit, our dreams began to dissipate. And he was an artist, and he felt that he had to be plugged into this source of creativity. When I look at the national tragedy that all of us are now witnessing, and I see how many people are becoming angry in this country, feeling disenfranchised, we do have to sort of recapture some of our childlike qualities and some of our openness.
You actually recorded some conversations with Michael Jackson, and he knew that this was going to be made into
of course,
a book?
That was its only purpose. Michael wanted to explain himself to the world. You know, for all the wondrous music he produced, he was terrible at actually explaining himself. So there was a disconnect between how popular his music was and how unpopular he was becoming. So he wanted this book in order to explain why it was that he felt parents had more to learn from their children than children had to learn from their parents.
We have some audio queued up from your discussions with Michael Jackson. Roll it, please.
How important is humor to children and in being an adult that always has their child qualities?
I think personally it's one of the most important qualities to have, where you can play and just let go, to be free-spirited. And that's part of being childlike. Not childish, but childlike.
Right.
And some people may look at it as if you're being an imbecile, you're being like, behave yourself. But, you know, it's fun. You got to play.
Makes sense. I'm curious, though, how you, Rabbi in northern New Jersey, teamed up with Michael Jackson.
Well, it's
an odd couple.
Right. Well, we met through a mutual friend, but it's not as odd as you think. I mean, look, I have 9 children, thank God. Michael was an exemplary father. That no one faults him on. And in addition, we both had broken childhoods. We had a lot in common. My parents divorced when I was a boy, and you know, I saw my father a few times a year. Michael felt estranged from his own father. We had a lot in common. I don't think that friendships are actually built by background. I think they're built on shared interest and values. And the one thing Michael and I really believed was that the world was sort of overlooking children, and that parents had to be guilted into spending time with their kids. We had to tell parents that you're going to scar your children if you neglect them. What if it was a more positive message? That you're actually going to be more successful in your career, at your work, because you gain greater creativity, more openness by being around your kids.
You actually, though, lost contact with Michael the last few years of his life.
I did.
Was it because that you spoke out, against some of the things that he was doing?
Well, that was later. I lost contact initially because I felt I could no longer be productive in his life. He was really... my influence had been neutralized. His management and Michael later also felt that I was making him too available, because I got Michael to give lectures at universities. I got Michael to be around very serious people. I felt he didn't need to be more famous. He needed to be more credible. His credibility had been destroyed. And I think that depression was setting into his life as a result. And rather than medicating that away, I wanted to get to the root of the problem. I mean, if the issue was that Michael wanted to consecrate his fame to a higher cause and no one was taking him seriously, then for goodness sake, let's do some serious things together.
What years were you involved with Michael Jackson? What years were you talking to?
99, 2001.
99 to 2001. Yeah, 93 was when the first stories of child molestation erupted, but
Correct.
He was almost at his career nadir back then. He was out of money, running out of money.
Right. Well, when I met him, he was very lethargic. I think Michael was very energyless. He was losing his sense of purpose. I mean, what more was he going to accomplish or achieve? Indeed, the only album he released after that was Invincible, which was probably his least successful album. I thought that he could be a voice to the world, that he could really use the spotlight of fame to highlight a very important cause, and that was his dream as well. Look, we gave lectures at Oxford University together, Carnegie Hall, a few blocks away, about the need for parents to prioritize their children.
What would he teach an audience at Oxford? What did he have to tell them?
He gave an incredible speech about how children deserve like a Bill of Rights. I mean, some things pretty straightforward, like kids deserve to have a bedtime story. They deserve to have family dinners. One of the things that emerged from my friendship with Michael is this national campaign that I carry on until today called Turn Friday Night into Family Night, trying to get parents to give their kids 2 uninterrupted hours where you turn off the crackberry and you don't answer the phones and you actually focus not on this quality time idea, but rather that you actually listen to your children, you engage with them, and you try to have substantive conversation. You know, Michael cried to me once, and we also have an audio clip of that, where he said that had there been a Children's Day, in the same way there's a Mother's Day, a Father's Day, where he could have invoked that time, could have demanded it from his father and said, this is my day. and you're not going to work. You're going to make me feel like I'm valuable. He believes that he would have grown up far less scarred.
It's an interesting book. It's called Honoring the Child's Spirit. It's 10 conversations you need to have with your children, and it's in conversation with Michael Jackson.
That's right.
Rabbi
It's a
Shmuley.
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
I see you again. Again, the book is available everywhere, pretty much.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to hear about the more on the Michael Jackson audio tapes, please go to our website, myfoxny.com.
All right, we've been talking about this. There is a proposal being kicked around in New Jersey mandating that every bike rider be licensed, get a license plate for your bike.
Rabbi Shmuley, you're from Jersey. Do you hear this?
Is there any other way that they can gouge us in Jersey? I mean, is this never... By the way, how are we going to pay the $10? We have nothing left. They've virtually taken everything. I live in this state, and sometimes you hear these proposals. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
And, there's no shock value left. It's Jersey. Of course you have to license your bicycle. Why wouldn't they try to sort of control that as well?
Well, listen, third graders have been doing it for years voluntarily. We all go to Disney World and get our license plate that says Greg, and we proudly put it on the back of our 10-speeder.
Well, then they're going to make us ride around with mouse ears. But
quite frankly, actually, you didn't put the license plate on the 10-speeder. That's a big boy bike. You put it on your Stingray from Schwinn.
Right.
Get myfoxny.com on your iPhone free at the App Store and stay connected.